Let's go!
I am not a Bo Nix guy. If you were not high on Bo Nix going into the draft and there really wasn't that much in the season that should change your mind, it's a lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage, a lot of use the scheme to make it easy for you. And that catches up to you.
Is Bamani right? Is Bo Nix fraudulent? Well, at least on this throw, he's not. Let's hit the tape. So we're not going to do a whole lot of all 22 breakdowns, but for this, you really, really, really need it. Because it shows you how high level of a play this was. So you can see Courtland is running the deep dig on this levels concept right here. And it's going to take a while, right? The point of this, obviously, is to have two underneath defenders to draw up these overhangs to open up space right here. So Bo throws this football. Let's see when the actual release point was on this. Yeah, I mean, he's ripping this pretty much before the break. That is some high-level QB play, and look at where it's placed, y'all. That is some beautiful bean footage. And honestly, I just love the sequencing here from Sean Peyton. Third down conversion, there was a deep safety. Now there's not one. And on second and short-ish, they decide to run pretty much everything deep. Obviously, you have a shallow right here to Marvin Mims if you want it. And Bo Nix is able to hit his college teammate, Troy Franklin, who we know can run, even though his body composition is that of a toothpick. Now you're actually going for the whole shebang, and Bo Nix gets absolutely mollywopped while he's letting this football go, and you can make a very strong case that is the best rookie opening drive in playoff history. I mean, look at that ball placement. Boom! Love to see it. All right, so let's move ahead to a 3rd and 6 later in this drive, and this is part of the criticism of Bo Nix. Does he have that elite tier upside to get you through the NFL playoffs? So on this 3rd and medium, you'll see that after the motion, what they're trying to do here is get this receiver going here, and then Courtland Sutton running behind him for a little rub action here. So you could see that it works. It's that Taylor Rapp actually gets on top of this, and Bo Nix gets scared to actually throw this football, which to me, he shouldn't have. This ball should have been completed for a first down. So you get the rub right here. Obviously, yes, Rapp is over the top of this, but this ball could still be fit in right here for a first down. So instead, Bo Nix sees that contain is somewhat lost on this side, so he decides to get into a foot race. He is not Jaden Daniels or Jalen Hurts, even though he is a very, very, very good runner, and he's not able to pick up this first down, but it should have been complete. All right, let's get to another 3rd and 8, and this time Sean McDermott just out-schemes the Denver Broncos. So it is important to point out that Courtland Sutton did drop a first down. It looked like a really, really, really bad drop, but 43 for the Bills made a very good late play on it, and once again, he makes another big play right here. So this obviously is a crowded line of scrimmage, and one thing that works well versus a team that might all-out blitz is if you roll your QB out to one side, which is what the Broncos elect to do. And what the Broncos are doing is running a flood concept. So you have deep vertical here, and then you have the secondary route right here, and then you have a running back running into the flats. And you would think that this would work based on the alignment of these DBs because you think it is quarters, right? So in quarters, everybody goes back deep, but you'll see that this ends up being a deeper variation of cover 2. The corner doesn't bail. He's sitting here waiting for the Courtland Sutton out. And the thing is, and it's hard to really visualize this, is pre-snap, Bo Nix probably thought the corner was going to run with the vertical along with the safety. That is not what happens, okay? The outside corner is just staying with this deep out, and they pretty much have this play perfectly defended. Bo Nix still decides to throw it. It is a dangerous throw. If you are to throw it, though, it does need to be on this back shoulder. I think Bo Nix probably thought Courtland Sutton was going to stop and not run into this defense. If that were the case, this ball would have been perfectly placed. It is not, and that is their second disconnect, and you are forced to punt. All right, so Broncos get a fake punt. Honestly, one of the more beautifully executed fakes you'll ever see. And what happens is on first down, they run for 4 yards. Then on second down, they try to run a screen to Mims, and it was a negative 3-yard gain. All right, so now 3 seconds left on the play clock. You have a crowded line of scrimmage, and Bo Nix makes a huge error. So if I were looking at this pre-snap and understanding where I was on the field, I am not quite into field goal range, so I want to get closer to potentially kick a field goal or closer to potentially go for it. So the vertical just go ball to Courtland Sutton in desperation, especially with where these DBs are aligned, it's just not an option that I want to work with. Now, if the DB was closer, sure. I just am never throwing the vertical go. What I'm doing is checking my numbers, all right? So I have a 2v1 on this side. So how defenses normally attack this, if the running back, who is, by the way, Mims' receiver, is next to you, if he flares out, one of these two have to flare out with Mims. But that's not what happens. The Bills called an all-out blitz with one QB spy over the middle right here. I am working this side because if I hit this into the flat, this is a first down, or at the very least, some good yardage to make it a manageable fourth. I think Bo Nix didn't want to throw it to Mims in the flat again because it was a negative yard gain on a screen the time before. So, it is good that he doesn't take the sack. He just throws a prayer ball up, and it is incomplete to Courtland Sutton. So, Bo Nix, who is a really, really, really smart QB, I thought could have done a better job in that situation. Really good quarterbacking right here from Bo Nix. We start off the 2-minute drill, and, well, this turns, it looks pre-snap like this is going to be just simple 2-man under, but wrap goes as the robber, and it becomes cover 1, right? So, obviously, you could see that the Broncos have been trying to hit like deep vertical stuff up the sideline. This is a good defense to do it against. But Bo Nix sees, since it is indeed man-to-man, that is a great time to scramble. So he tucks it, finds an open space. Pass rush lane integrity is not the best here, nor do you really want it to be if you have guys like Von Miller. But Bo Nix takes these yards and does what he does as good as most quarterbacks in the league, which is scramble. And this right here, holy crap, Bosa for Nix. What the hell is this, bro? Unbelievable stuff. Obviously, some luck mixed into this. This time, this bull rush does get home, and Bo Nix pump fakes in a dirty pocket, throws over the rush, and look at where this ball is placed, and look at this catch right here by Courtland Sutton. That is ridiculous. All right, 15 seconds left to go. Obviously, you're trying to get this football into field goal range, and Sean Peyton calls yet another rollout. And this is a very popular college play where you start off in the pocket and then you roll out, right? It's not like an automatic rollout. And your goal here is actually to hit this running back in the flats, right? But what happens here is Bo Nix rolling out to the right side. This DB is playing the RB, Javonte Williams, and you can see that the Bills see that this deep over to Courtland Sutton is open, but this flat route has this DB in conflict. Bo Nix sees that and throws an absolute dart to Courtland Sutton to get them into field goal range right before the half. And, well, the kicker decides to doink it. We have reached a halfway portion of today's video. We want to shout out our friends at Fast Draft Fantasy. Sign up now. Promo code Carter for a deposit match bonus up to $50. Fast Draft Fantasy. Go draft Bo Nix right now. whatever you should do, don't draft Troy Franklin. You have a go ball to Courtland Sutton. There's a safety capping this over here. So, once again, this pocket is good. This Denver Broncos offensive line is really fun to watch. And Troy Franklin is just locked up. I don't know if Bo Nix thought Franklin would roll out or just try and get open this way. But look at where it's placed. Hits him right in the hands. And the moment's too big for him. Piss down your leg, Coach 30 style. And it is a punt. Okay, so this is partially on Sean Peyton, who's my favorite coach in the NFL. Josh Allen is hotter than Haley Steinfeld right now. And you are down by 2 freaking possessions. Okay, so what I would tell my quarterback here is you have 2 downs to pick this up. We don't want to just be blindly throwing a ball to Marvin Mims into heavy freaking coverage, and that is exactly what he does. That is what the Bills want you to do in this situation, and it honestly should have been picked. So you could see right here that the pass rush lane integrity is given up by the Bills here. Okay, it's not the worst, but Bo Nix has no checkdowns. There's guys out there on him. You've got to make this defense pay and just tuck and run for this. Even if you don't pick it up, you can go for it on 4th. I do think if he steps up and runs, I think he picks it up. I do. Okay, instead of just blindly throwing it into heavy coverage. All right, so I want to be fair to Bo Nix here. He had a few nice plays leading up to this drive, but the defense is playing very soft because the score is 28-7. And this right here proves Bomani Jones' point to a certain degree. All right, so you have an interesting read. It's a too high shell right here, and Bo Nix decides to start off looking to the right, and we have a bit of a coverage bust here. Running back going into the flat, the corner plays a running back, as does the linebacker. So you have Courtland Sutton for a nice gain here. Maybe he makes a miss, and this turns into something. But watch what actually happens to the bottom of the screen, where you have a smash-ish type of concept here. Okay, so you bring a fullback out onto the field, and normally you want to throw this football out into the flat because you have a lead blocker, but there's 2 guys here, okay? So if Bo Nix would have worked this right here, this is a pretty nice size gain into the red zone. Instead, they were ready for him. This ends up being considered a rushing play, and Marvin Mims literally is just dead to rights right here. So Von Miller blew a play up on 2nd down, and Bo Nix had to basically just throw it away, and we get to this 3rd and 13. This is really good quarterbacking by Bo Nix because Von Miller blows a play up yet again. So let's just make this a manageable 4th down, and that is exactly what he does. He gets the football to his go-to guy, Mr. Courtland Sutton, who ironically had a ridiculous catch the year before in Buffalo, and now we get the 4th down. Then basically Sean Payton, we all know he likes to throw to his running backs out of the backfield. This fake right here is something that does not fool the Bills. And honestly, in college, they never stopped this play. But, these are the pros. Everybody's just bigger and faster. Von Miller left unblocked. And, well, you're short of the line to gain. So, what do we make of Bo Nix? You see some current training camp highlights in the background here. And obviously you add Evan Ingram into this mix. RJ Harvey now in this backfield. I felt that Broncos running back room was arguably the worst in the NFL. And oh yeah, that other guy who has had all kinds of injuries but somehow continues to play at a high level, J.K. Dobbins. And the best offensive line arguably in football, and the most underrated defensive line in football, and the best secondary, and one of the best coaches. Are you freaking kidding me? But we're more so focusing on Bo Nix. And my question for you, is he the worst QB in his own division? I know that sounds nuts, but I don't know how many of you are taking him over Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes. And then obviously Geno is in that mix. I would probably put Geno last and Nix number 3. And then you look at some of the advanced metrics. QBR is just inside the top 20. Adjusted net yards per attempt, just inside the top 20. EPA per dropback, just inside the top 20. So I don't think he was necessarily elite in any category. So the question would be, I understand it's weird to say this for a second-year QB, but he has played just so much football. Was this his peak last year? Do you think there's still room for growth? I hope you enjoyed this Bills film study. For me, I think it's probably somewhere in the middle there, but we'll see what happens. It is Power Hour NFL. Boom! Tonight, we're doing gumbo. Let's go.